Hi everybody, it's your pal Martin the Metalhead here. Hope you're going well. Today I am flying out of London for the first time since I came back from Poland. Now, I've been through a lot of hellish times in the last 30 or so days. I lost my job at an East London cafe because of an incident with a co-worker I didn't like working with, who, let's just say, he was a bit of a knobhead. And so they gave me the sack because I said some nasty things. So I canned a trip to East Africa because I felt really sad and depressed. A week later, I thought of going to Tangier, Morocco, but then I had too much work with a lot of my clients. And so I've been busy for like the last few weeks working with all my clients, and then I brought to my attention that I need to get the heck out of Britain for the next 2 or so weeks. Try to get to my 100th country and come back start of May, ready to see Toya and Robert in Worcestershire. I mean, I was a bit sad canning that trip to East Africa, but when you do something really stupid in life, like say nasty things to a co-worker that offends him, or because he's been there longer than you and you're different to him, you just don't feel sad and depressed you're doing this. So I'm about to head off to Luton Airport right now, get on a train and get to Sofia, Bulgaria. A country I went to 3 times in a 3-year period, and I haven't been back since 2016. I'm just making my way through London Bridge, get to the Northern Line, get to King's Cross St Pancras. Now, I pre-booked a ticket from King's Cross to King's Cross to Luton Airport Parkway for less than £4, and then it's going to cost me like a £5 to get on the bus to get out to the airport, rather than just paying £12ish pounds to go from Victoria or Finchley Road all the way up to, what do you call it, Luton or Stansted. Yeah. Like on my last trip, I actually took the train home from Stansted, and because I had a rail card, I didn't have to pay that much money. Oh my god, I'm in King's Cross, and I'm early again. I've got half an hour until my train to Luton Parkway leaves, so I'm gonna see if I can get some food. Literally, when you're leaving London, you don't get that £5 deposit back when you want a refund, because I just thought about doing a refund today. It basically says, oh, you got 60 pence on your Oyster card, that's how much you're going to get back. And I'm like, no, what about the £5 I paid to get the card? And they're like, no, you're only going to get 60 pence. I thought, no point dismanaging my Oyster card for 60 pence. I'm going to come back in a few weeks. On the train traveling out of London. God, it's been a long time since I left London. Okay, it has been a long time since I went to Luton Airport. Last time I was here would have to be November 2020, and I was escaping the lockdown to get to Serbia. Now, I was expecting to get on a bus today from Luton Parkway. That's always been the way it is, but the buses don't run after a certain time, so you have to make sure you get a ticket for the Dart station, because this is brand new. Wow, look how good this is. Luton Airport is connected by train properly, no more buses. Okay, just arrived at the gate. Passport and boarding pass on my phone. First time in ages I've ever used my phone as a boarding pass. So let's go to Sofia right now. Okay, getting on board my second flight of the year. No wait, sorry, my third flight. Yes, I was in Poland in January, so it's my second trip abroad. Just landed at Sofia Airport and waiting to get off the damn plane. Joys of traveling. Just got off the plane, smell like fresh cold air of Sofia, Bulgaria. 6.5 years waiting to come back. Alright, I have just arrived at Sofia Airport. I landed quite early. I expected to land at like, what, 3 o'clock? I landed 20 minutes early. Now, the metro station is the best way to get from the airport to the city centre. It will only cost you 1.70 Bulgarian lev, which is, well, less than £1 sterling. And it's good value, but the only downside is that they don't start running until like what, 4-ish in the morning? Okay, so I'm going to do a bit of a talk about previous trips to Sofia, Bulgaria. The first time I came here was July 2013. Yeah, 10 years ago. I took a train from Bucharest to Sofia, took a whole day. I spent a whole of Saturday looking around Sofia before I got on a train to Istanbul. I came back in August 2015 by taking a bus from Skopje all the way to Sofia, and it was actually in Macedonia, I mean it's like North Macedonia, I need to be politically correct, that I dropped my bank card. So my British bank card was lost. I had to fly back to the UK, stay a couple of days in Birmingham, and then fly back to Australia. Third time I came here was also in June 2016. My original plan was basically to travel overland from Skopje to Istanbul and then get on a flight to Malaysia via Saudi Arabia. But I stupidly stayed awake and didn't take the bus at the right time, so I took the one bus that goes from Skopje to Bulgaria. As soon as I get to Sofia, it's night time. I've missed the last train. People are offering me to take me to Istanbul for €200, so I had to fly to Istanbul the next day and then get on my flight to Saudi Arabia. And I haven't been back here since. I've only seen Sofia. I can't say I've seen anything else, even though I have traveled throughout the country of Bulgaria, like from the top border at Rouge all the way across down into Turkey. Just after 5 o'clock, the metro train should be running, and the front door is even open. I don't know what it's like to fly into London at like what, 2 o'clock in the morning and trying to get home from Heathrow Airport with no tube. I mean, there's always going to be buses there, but seriously, it reminds me of the time I literally had to take a taxi to get to Bournemouth Airport for an early flight, and then when I came back from Malta, flew into the same airport. There was no public transport running at 11 o'clock at night. So, didn't take a taxi, just walked into the city centre. Crazy me. See, I like how these stations in Sofia is that after the train leaves, this iron guard comes down, stops people from entering the tracks, and it's just so smart. Getting off at, where am I? Serdica station. Not Central Station, where you can get the train to Istanbul, but such a great part of Sofia. Yeah, so I remember it, so it had like some ancient Roman sites. There's Lady Sofia. No, that can't be Lady Sofia, it's a different statue. Perhaps if I switch to the English version, it'll tell me a bit more. Yeah, there you are. Roman times. See, look how awesome this is, right? There's a synagogue just down the road over there. There's an Ottoman era mosque right there. And then up north of the alleyway, up that street, that's the Orthodox Cathedral. So all three major religions have their buildings right in the center here. You gotta remember that actually Bulgaria was part of the Ottoman Empire for a couple of hundred years, and the relics of the Ottoman Empire era remain large to this day. Turkish government does a good job at paying for the upkeeping, and so does the Bulgarian government as well. So this is inside the mosque. I mean, it's Ramadan right now. There's an interesting factor that many Bulgarians actually escaped to Turkey during the communist times for more freedoms. And I once met a Bulgarian lady who does a lot of education and work in Turkey. It's a bit crazy. You know, to be from the EU and you're working in Turkey. So this here, it's like, I don't know if this is a hotel at all. Probably is. But you're looking down here at like what they have like discovered in the excavations. See, the last time I saw something like this would have to have been when I was in Beirut many years ago. But this is just like well kept. It's like they dug something up many hundreds of years ago and found this. This is called archaeology. So this building right here is the synagogue of Sofia. It's like the second largest, the third largest in Europe, but actually it's the largest Sephardic. You see, when the Jews were kicked out of Spain and Portugal in the Spanish Inquisition, a lot of them came to the Ottoman Empire, and they settled all over the Ottoman Empire, like Sarajevo. They settled in Sofia, they settled in Istanbul, they settled in Haifa, they settled in Alexandria, Aleppo. Yeah, they've always had a good being, Sephardics well welcomed in the Ottoman Empire, because the Ottoman governor was like, you are refugees, you are welcome in my land, it doesn't matter what your belief is. And they got along quite so well. And all throughout the former Ottoman Empire countries, you'll see many resemblance of the language of Ladino. Yes, when you hear people talking Ladino, it sounds Spanish. It is a little bit Spanish, but it's like a mixture of Hebrew and Spanish. Ladino. Around 6:21, they turned the lights off, meaning that it's almost dawn. I wouldn't really call it dawn, can't see any major sunrise. But it's mostly like a sign to say a day is about to begin. And yes, I was correct. Yep, the president of Bulgaria lives in that building right there. They've got like 2 guards with their shelter, but the guards haven't turned up for work right now because it's 6:40 in the morning. Even when I'm not in England, I still can't escape Costa coffee. I never ever buy Costa coffee in England or anywhere else. It's just overpriced. Some reason why I never buy at Starbucks. I mean, if you want a cheap cup of coffee these days, you go to Greg's, get an Americano for like £1.55. Sorry, £1.50, and then like get a biscuit with gingerbread or a jam biscuit for 55p. offer like what, 210. But this is because I live near a Greg's outlet where they sell half-price food. I once read this in a tourist book that because pensions in both Romania and Bulgaria are quite low, pensioners will do anything for extra money. They'll sell flowers on the side of the road, they'll do some juggling in the street, or they'll even put scales in the market of Sofia and charge people half a Bulgarian lev to weigh themselves. I mean, if that's a way to make money when you're quite old, do it. Even though it's been, what, 10 years since I first came to Sofia, I still remember what the buildings look like. This here, typical Russian Orthodox church, built, what, maybe 19th century I guess. Can't say it looks new at all. But there's actually like a mausoleum somewhere in Sofia that contains the remains of a Russian prince or a Bulgarian prince. But either way, you know, Russian Orthodox does have its place here in Sofia. Not because of, what, the Cold War or the Iron Curtain or communism, but generally, you know, Russians did help the people of Romania, Serbia and Bulgaria become free from Ottoman rule. Look at this, Russian Orthodox Church, Russian restaurant. Bizarre. Now this is the one thing I always remember about my time in Sofia. This bust, the national hero. I don't even remember his name. I don't think his name is Vasil. Oh, that's a common name. But I do believe he is responsible for the founding of this country. And no, it's not Vladimir Lenin. I mean, a head like Lenin would not be around these days. Here we are. That's the Parliament, National Assembly of Bulgaria. I always remember that it's in walking distance from the big Orthodox cathedral. Yeah, see? Look at that. See this cathedral? It's a Parliament. So it's like the big square. And this guy, I believe, symbolizes Bulgaria's freedom from the Ottoman. And also remembers those who died in, well, the Balkan Wars that happened before World War I and during World War I believe. But then again, there has to be at least a few World War II memorials. So the funny thing was, Bulgaria in World War II actually annexed a bit of Yugoslavia, like Macedonia. They basically said, hey, we want to have a piece of Yugoslavia, so that they took Macedonia, but it only lasted for a couple of years. You see all those men like dressed up in fancy uniforms, and then you got a couple of Orthodox priests right there and there. According to the statue, this man is an airman who he did a lot of work. Wait, he was killed during World War II, I believe. I mean, if that's your birth, your death. Quite a heroic statue, just outside the Parliament. Excuse me, I'm so yawny. Here it is. Just like how I remember it. The big main cathedral of Bulgarian Orthodox. I used to be friends with this Bulgarian guy who moved to Australia. I worked in a really crappy restaurant he was managing, and then he left. And then the funny thing was, his girlfriend also ended up working at a restaurant that I tried getting a job at, but they didn't effing hire me. My friend Vasil, as that's a common Bulgarian name, he told me that this poor man, not really homeless or anything, what he would do was he'd basically sit at the front entrance of this church, have a bucket, and people would think, oh, they're gonna give him money. No. What he did was all the money that they gave to this man, he gave it to the church. Just like so. What a senseless thing to do, just to give back to your faith. You know, as we all say at church, you pass around the collection plate. In Judaism, you put a coin in the box. Think of the needy people. Same goes with Islam, you know. Give some money to help out others. What a great way. Statue park. The crazy thing about the statue is they got a similar one like that at the capital Belgrade to commemorate Serbian independence. But the funny thing was, they both have a similar posing of a man with his arm and his hip and a flag. Copycats. When people pass on, it's quite common to have death notices posted all over town. This person died quite young. Just walking towards the little that I found on the map. I was just stock up on some stuff for today, and then go to find my hostel. I'm sure they won't penalize me for an early check-in. I'll just basically just lie on the couch, fall asleep there. It's kind of funny, a few years ago in Trondheim, but I arrived to my hostel at like 12 noon, and I hadn't slept that much because I was on a train overnight from Oslo. So the hotel manager was like, oh, here's your room key. Stop sleeping in my living room. Get to bed. Oh, got a few hours shut eye. But then I had to get up early the next day after the Dream Theater concert and go back to Oslo. I wanted to stay in Bulgaria for a little while because I found a woman who could rent me a room for 300 lev or euros a month. Not too bad. But I felt like that I couldn't move to Bulgaria until I had put my foot in the door in the United Kingdom. So that's why I tried my luck many times to get to Birmingham. And even though I no longer live in Birmingham, I'm still glad I live in the UK. No going back to Australia for me. Well, it's almost 9 o'clock in the morning and I've been up since, 10:30 yesterday. Couldn't get any sleep on that damn plane thanks to those stupid crying children. So anyway, I'm gonna go check into my hostel now and just crash down on the sofa, I guess. If that's the way to put it. I'll probably get up early tomorrow and get to Varna out on the Black Sea. It's going to take a couple of hours. They say by bus it's quicker than train, because trains are quite slow in this part of Europe. As a matter of fact, the last time I ever took a train anywhere in Europe would have had to be when I took a train from Oslo to Trondheim to see Dream Theater 3 years ago. I like train travel, but in my country, the United Kingdom, bus travel is so much cheaper than the train. Anyway, Martin the Metalhead, over and out.